Round 21, the season is flying by. We have 5 rounds left before the actual finals for the NRL. If you are playing head-to-head matchups, check when those finals start. Most of them will start next week in round 22. Just be aware of that. But a lot of the settings are different in each of those head-to-head matchups. So check them out, see where yours are at, and just make sure you have enough trades for the finals there. And also make sure you get into those finals. But Roosters v Broncos to kick it off, and I don't see many changes here for the Roosters. So really all it is now is just making sure that you're setting up your final teams if you have enough trades. So guys like Tedesco are going to be really, really important. Joey Manu is great in either centre or the wing fullback position. And then obviously guys like Nat Butcher, Angus Crichton are the ones you need to have a look at there. Crichton I wouldn't be picking up at this point. Butcher, maybe last chance to grab him if you haven't got him yet. In terms of our Broncos, so Dean Mariner keeps his spot if you still need that centre position player, and hopefully they play a little bit better, which would be ideal for him there, for the Broncos definitely. So that would be the only general thoughts around that. We see Adam Reynolds in there, which is great, and Payne Haas is still a great buy heading into this week. We got Kobe Hetherington coming in for Carrigan. We're not sure how many weeks he's going to get. When he fronts the judiciary, we'll find out on that one. And for the video that we're doing tonight with Scoop, we're going to be going through all the best options for trading out Cleary, and then also the best captaincy options this week. So that will be that type of video, and I hope you stick around for that one and find that one out. But yeah, they're the two teams for that game there. We got Storm v Titans, and David Nofaluma comes into the Storm system and will play out the rest of the year. So he's at about 490k, which is a little bit expensive, but obviously in a Storm system, if they start to play well, he could really come out and dominate. But just be aware of that price, and he's probably not going to be a keeper. He might have 1 or 2 really good games, which would make it seem like he's going to be a gun, but that's that there. We see Tyron Wishart in the 1 jersey now, so let's see if that actually stays heading into this week. But Munster's still a great option this week, I think, coming in for Cleary. But again, we'll speak about him in a little more detail. He's one of the highest averaging halves in the game at the moment. On the Titan side of the ball, we see Jaden Campbell back in the fullback position, and we lose Toby Sexton. So Tanner Boyd and also Alex Brimson are in the 6 and 7 role there. So if you had Toby, then just check that one out. Guys like Aaron Clark, still a solid option, but pretty expensive now. You got David Fafita, who's coming off a light game. Hopefully he steps up. And thankfully for anyone who owns Booth and are playing him currently, he still gets that role. We do have Greg Marzhew in the 14, so you can't see him taking the minutes off off Booth. Last week, Campbell came on for Booth, so that'll be interesting to see what happens in that one, if he gets some more minutes, if they allow that. And Toby Sexton's in the reserves this week, so frustrating for anyone who owns him, but that is the way it goes. Eagles v Para, so get all their guns back. Cole is back, so if you want to, you can play him. It'll be a pretty tough matchup, to be honest with you. And if you have someone like Taylor May, it might be worth playing him over Kohler, just because of the matchup. But again, he could step up, and I've seen him score well against good sides. Ruben Garrick is a hold, definitely DCE, still a good buy, a little bit cheaper than he was a few weeks ago, which is always ideal if you're looking to pick him up. Olokwatu's back, so if you hold on to him, happy days. And that's all we need to really speak about on the Manly side. For the Eels there, we see Jake Arthur come into that 7 jersey. Mitch Mose is going to be out for a month, so it'll be interesting to see how much Dylan Brown does, and if you still own him, he's definitely going to be a solid hold, especially after playing really well last week. So that's that with him. Guys like Reed, the question mark now is, can he back up that score? It's very attacking stat base. He had a really tough start to the game last week, so really hoping for a better start to him. I think I'm going to have to hold him, because if I'm trading him out, are we able to bring in another hooker? That's probably the main issue. If you're trading him out, you're probably trying to get like a Murray, a Payne Haas, one of these types of players, and then you're removing that hooker cover, which is, again, the tough one. Sean Lane, probably close to the 2 form back rowers in the comp at the moment, especially fantasy-wise, and definitely probably, actually both of them in general NRL. And Madison, I'm still holding if you've got him. Bunnies v Warriors, so Latrell, we're just hoping that he plays a little bit more fullback this week would be ideal. We've got Milne and Tass in the centres this week, and Cartwright is out. So, hopefully there's no injuries to the back line, and he can just play the 1 for the whole game, and hopefully they, for his sake, they beat the Warriors pretty well, and he can score nicely there. Damien Cook and Murray are still close to must-haves in their position. Damien Cook definitely, clearly the best hooker, and Murray clearly the best middle in the game. So I think Cook is definitely a more important position, so if you can get Cook first, I think that would be the way to go. For the Warriors, we see Ewan Aiken move to centre, which is a little bit annoying. He won't score as well as he does in the back row. The tackles will be down a little bit, and probably similar scoring to what we saw with Jack Bird. So just be aware of that. He will need to score a try or get plenty of ball and plenty of run meters to be able to score really well. So just be aware of that with Ewan Aiken. Tor Harris thankfully keeps his spot, but we see some very interesting back row and 13 there with Sirinen, Murchie, and Penne, and they've got Curran in the 17 role with Tavanga out. So yeah, plenty happening in there. Less experience in that back, the back three there, and then you got Freddie Lussick in the 9 jersey, Wade Egan at 6. So plenty happening in that team. Not too much that's fantasy relevant apart from Ewan Aiken in that one. Okay, Raiders v the Panthers. So on the Panthers side of the ball, we see Sean O'Sullivan in that 7 jersey. We will speak about him with Scoop, just considering that he's going to be a solid option. And Jamin Salmon keeps the 6 role. We don't see Kurt Falls yet, but he's in the 21 jersey. So it looks like they'll give Salmon his chance to build that combination with O'Sullivan for the next month, and then they'll work it out obviously over the next few weeks if that's going to stay. But if you have Falls, just be aware that he could come in at any time. And then the forward side of the thing, not too much to really talk about there, to be honest with you. Taylor May and Tungo, definitely solid options to play if you still own them. And Stephen Crichton is back. If you got To'o, keep holding on to him. He'll be fine. Well, he should be fine anyway in this one. But obviously Cleary out means that him on the right-hand side, how they're going to go. So we'll find out this week for sure. Xavier Savage, do you play him this week? Maybe not. If you don't have to, I probably wouldn't. If you do, then it's not the worst thing in the world. I had to do it last week. He got the 42 and was fine. We still see Adam Elliott named, thankfully. So that's a good one. It sounds like it was just a cork for him, and he'll be good to go. Tarpanay is an incredible option this week as well, so just keep him in your mind if you can get enough cash. If you already have Murray, then he's the second best option for sure. They're both pretty much as good as each other at the moment. Sharkies, Cade Dykes gets his debut, which is pretty exciting for him. Gets that position over Lockie Miller, so it looks like Kennedy's out for the 6 weeks. It might be syndesmosis for him. So Dykes will get his chance, which is pretty cool. So if you need a cash out, he could be a sneaky one at the back for the Sharks, and with them playing pretty well, might be a different player than how they use Kennedy in this squad. Lockie Miller came out and ran the footy a lot, so maybe Cade Dykes can come do that as well. But if they're picking him over Miller, then maybe they're going against a runner rather than and more of a ball player like Kennedy would be. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts are on him if you know much about Cade, because I don't personally. I know Rugby League Guru said a few things about him. He follows him and follows all the youngsters around, which is awesome work from him. Cam McInnes still a definite hold. He's going to continue scoring well. And on the Dragon side, there's not too much to talk about there. We've still got Jack Bird in the centres, so not ideal, especially up against a good side in the Sharks. So that's that there. We see the Dogs v the Cowboys. It's going to be a fun one out in Bundaberg, so it would have been nice to actually go see them, considering the Dogs are home. We visit Belmore. They're not too far from where I live. But how safe is it being there as an opposing team when Dogs are going well too? They'll be getting right into me, I'd say. Jake Averillo, Carraz, still great option for Carraz if you can continue playing him. Even against the Cowboys, I think he should be able to do okay. Burton, big game for him to step up, I believe. You got Jackson Torpenny at the 12 position again, so he keeps that slot now, which is really, really good. Jackson back in the 11 role, so not ideal. Tavita Pangai in the 13. So Torpenny, if he can get 80 minutes again, he'll continue to score pretty well. Just be aware that he's going to have Gilbert or Nanai to contend with on the weekend. So a couple of guns, obviously. Cowboys side, Drinkwater, Holmes, Taumalolo, all solid options. Nanai, even a solid option to bring in again. Crazy as we would have thought. And that interchange looks pretty good. Lucy Leilua, Ruben Cotter, Griffin Neem, the legend. What a try he scored on the weekend. And Jakey Granville's doing a job for us. So, overall, a few options in that Cowboys team, just with them playing really well. And the last one, Tigers v Knights. On the Tigers side of the ball, we've got Dewey and Madden again. So, hopefully they can do pretty well. Dewey's still a great option. Still fairly cheap as well. And then a couple of them I want to talk about. Alex Seyfarth, the number 11, and Fonua Pole in the 13. So he should get bigger minutes and would actually be half a decent option at playing him. So we see Austin Diaz and Tom Freeban on the interchange. So minutes wise, I think there's going to be a little bit to go around. You got Peachy, who probably take a few minutes through 13 and potentially 9. So you think Pole would probably get close to that 45 to 50 minutes, which I think is enough for him to score pretty well, to be honest. Close to a 40, I'd say, in that time for a PPM just under 1. Safar should be able to get the 80 minutes, and we've seen his scoring over the last bunch of games that he's played big minutes on an edge, and it's been really impressive. So he's a solid one this week at a very cheap price that could come in and do a job for you over the next few weeks especially. Joel Fangawe's been doing really well. Also, on the night side, there's really not too much to talk about. We see Barnett named in the 13 with Brodie Jones in at 12 this week. So you should assume more minutes for Brodie. We see Clemmer out this week. So Jacob and Daniel are both starting. And then just a selection of guys on the interchange to roll through those minutes. So probably expect some decent minutes for Barnett. If you still want to hold him this week, then that would potentially be okay. But that is the round 21 team list video. As I said, we'll jump in with Scoop in the next half an hour and go through all those great options for you. And I hope you learn plenty and you're setting up nicely for your last bunch of trades, hopefully holding one or two for the remainder of the season, and continue watching these videos. I appreciate that. Like, subscribe, get around it. Thanks so much for being here. See you later.